Nah, the bus driver. Or is that lukewarm now? It was hot last week.
It was hot last week. I saw who hit a kid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did y'all see that video?
Yeah, I saw the video.
You didn't see it, but
No.
What did you think of that? I think so. It's a school bus, right?
Yeah, school transport.
Yeah, school transport, and he read out a list of names. Like if your name is not called out, you
not
can't
getting
get
on.
on the bus.
Yeah, whether we're
and
called
this
out,
kid's name wasn't called out, but he refused to be left behind. So he got on the bus anyways, and this guy was trying to kick him off the bus and he wouldn't get off. And then I remember on the video, Honala Mamo, where he's kicking him. But not like he's pushing him with the foot.
He's just using the foot for just extra
like
force.
He's trying to hold on, and then and then this guy, I think the man pushes him a little, and the kid swings.
I'm a challenger.
Then the kid swings.
And then he's like, you are about it.
I bet.
Because you are about it.
I bet. So there's a lot of like,
yeah, and I think it even just using that incident as a trigger for a broader conversation about how, I mean, you see it with teachers and students. You know, I saw another video of students, but we saw van in the schoolyard. I guess I hope teacher police, but the caption was like, these 2000s are out of order. They literally lifted a vehicle in the parking lot.
These kids just trying to go to school, man.
Yeah, well, they're more than just trying to get to school, though.
Yeah, but it's a very bad thing to prevent a child from going to school.
Bruh.
That's a really terrible thing to do.
But he's preventing him getting on the transport to go to school. But he's going to say, I'm also a service provider, and if none of y'all pay, none of y'all will be able to...
But it's not the kid that's paying, Tabang. Take it up with the parent.
Yeah.
No, I get it. But I'm just saying, there is also the frustration of the business owner on the other side. I'm not saying that the social thing, you know, like what school does and stuff. But on the other side, like you've got a service provider of something too that he also says, but if nobody pays, what is my recourse? Because you want to look at it from the point that I'm being prevented from accessing education. And these kids as well, it's like, so, because think about this. So this guy's argument could be, so you're talking about a kid that's going to school, ne? And the funny thing is that when you look at our generation and today's generation, is that it's as if one high school, because if he's challenging me with a swing, I've never seen this too.
But before we get to the swing part, right? Just like you as a person, because transport is not something that you can count like you do stock in your store.
Mm-hmm. Because
you can
the car will still move.
You can sneak somebody in on the bus, especially if you know he's just trying to get to school.
Mm-hmm.
So Botubaha is at least supposed to cover that aspect.
Yeah.
And not try to leave a child on the side of the road.
Yeah.
When he's trying to go to school.
Yeah.
How we party.
Yep.
You know, that's like
at most
like
you could have
at the most basic level.
Yep.
That is really dirty.
Yeah, but I'm still saying. So unfortunately, you've got. So remember, I'm still saying that guy is wearing the hat of being a businessman or whatever the case might be. You still have services that kind of like...
He doesn't own the bus.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's a worker.
Yeah.
Even if he did.
Even worse.
Yeah. But what the point is that maybe for him, that's another thing. Maybe for him, that's his duty. That are his KPIs. Nobody gets on the bus if they are not on the list.
Yeah, but it can't be tracked.
Yeah, I agree. Let me just cook. But I'm just saying, he's got a KPI. A KPI tells him, motho solo hakein because ntse ke sa le patale jena because bomme bana ba patale. right? So yes, I may have already incurred the cost of the fuel. The cost of fuel doesn't change whether there's 3 people on the bus or there's no 3 people. There's not X number of the people in the bus, but there's pressure that the operation is facing with. I can't afford the drivers. I can't afford X or whatever the case might be. So what is available to me as the service provider as recourse, because the very basic service that I'm rendering, I can see how from an ethical point of view, it's easy for people to also take advantage.
Yeah, but there are ways to do that without letting the kids get on the bus and then telling them to get off.
Hey, maybe he's exhausted that we don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to speculate on that.
because you could be on your A, you could be on your whatever month, like Halenseli. You know what I'm saying? I've sent the letter. We've had the meeting, right? So now, sometimes my only recourse is embarrassment. Because I could have exhausted those. The way that it looks, yes, because we don't have all the facts, then it does look horrible. And yes, you are justified to be appalled by it. But you also have to think, he was exactly doing that because of its business.
Yeah,
However, if you act like a man,
which is another thing what I was trying to say,
you're going to get fought like a man.
Because you started fighting on top of the fact that you are the party that's wrong.
Many a man have gotten that hard lesson from their fathers.
I was thinking about Des.
Ask Des. He'll tell you all about it. You act like a man, you get dealt with like a man. The one mistake that kid did was swing at that man. He should not have done that.
Yeah.
You should not have swung. Even women know about that, because you could argue with a dude, and the moment you start throwing hands, then all bets are off.
All bets are off.
Yeah, that was the one mistake that he did. But having said that, that driver still has to go to jail for that shit. Or at least he got to lose something.
Yeah. There has to be repercussions, yes. Yeah. Because we live in a country where...
Bro, you got to swing.
Violence is...
Swing.
Did you see how he was getting shoved and...
Yeah.
As defender funding.
Would you swing?
I probably would.
Are you swinging? You're swinging. So it means you can fight, right?
I can't fight for shit.
People that can't fight don't swing.
You've seen these kids. You've seen these kids with teachers in the class that refuse to be disciplined.
I saw a clip where
There's a lot.
child was wanting to fight with a teacher.
It's a meme. And the one about trying to get him off the back of this thing. It looks wild. So I think, like, yes, there's a broader narrative around, like we grew up under probably corporal punishment, maybe when it was being phased out. But you are finding teachers that are like, we can't deal with this, Kids are violent. Besides the violence, like the disrespect of even thinking you can speak back. Because now, like, on one hand, we trying to teach our kids that, because of either the rights and developing, you're like, no, you've got a voice. You can talk back. You can question, right? Which takes me back to that thing in our culture. Like, sometimes there are things that are just cultural, and it doesn't matter if they don't make sense. Sometimes it shouldn't matter that they don't make sense, but that's just how things are, right? So you get this thing out where there is no longer a respect for authority. Because on one hand, we are telling kids, they've got agency, they can question anything, because we are trying to empower them, right? They must not be sheep like we were, But now we grew up where if the teacher was right. But when if you think there's another way of getting to solve for X without following the exact steps or whatever, So as a society, this is what we've cooked. And now it's being tasted, and we gotta eat it. We were involved in the cooking. We saw the ingredients being prepared. We saw the ingredients being chosen. And this is it. This is it. So
swing.
So we are paying the price as a society.
Wow.
We are paying the price.
Is wild. You remember what a big deal it was every time you... Not deliberately. Let's say maybe your mom is trying to beat you, and then
You are fending her off.
You held the belt.
yeah, or bo wa block or bo mo shapa ka mpa maka ka pause.
fake.
Eh, maybe no it's touching. And then
Alright, block.
katumo mtsoka ka backhand. Do you remember what a big deal that was?
Maybe that's
Yeah.
what this kid was
Even
doing.
if it was an accident.
Yeah.
An little accident.
Bali, you saw that
No,
video.
that one was
Stop
not an
it.
accident.
Stop
It was not.
Stop it.
That was not an accident.
Like, I was like, bro, like, you don't raise your hand
Yeah.
to Mutamo.
yeah.
You just take it.
Yes.
Yes,
Or you
because-
run away.
Because there is inferred respect of position, of authority, of age. Right? Because that's how we grew up. It's like, even
You
if-
see how he was handling that situation in the first half of that video. That was right. That was good. But like he now became the aggressor. Now like you socha face.
Hey, you can't do that.
Walwana muswena.
You can't do that.
You're not defying anymore. You are fighting.
You can't do that.
Okay, alwane.
I bet. Kidila le monna yi.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened.
Ke monna yi.
It's just the audacity of humbopela the face.
You swinging them in front of all these kids, nigga.
Because, I mean, it's a lot of niggas out there from our generation when they like, especially maybe when you get to like your 20s or whatever, like either your father is frail or whatever, or you are just bigger, you've got more agility. You know I can take my father out. Like, you know it. He also knows it. Right? Sometimes he knows it because he doesn't press you the way he would press you when you're still 13. Right?
Yeah.
So I think there's a dual responsibility. So the elder also kind of has to know, like, I can't push the envelope the way I used to because I'm also dealing with a man. You know, I'm also now dealing with a man. It must not be lost on me that I'm dealing with a man, even though he's my child. You as a one that's on the receiving end of the discipline, it's like I must still understand. Or I'm dealing with an elder. My father is still my father, but it's an elder that I'm dealing with. So even if I know it, physically, I think I can take this nigga out. I have to be reminded that he's still an elder.
Also, you're knowing these youngins out here today, like we've seen these youngins out here today. Them kids on the bus failed that kid, bruh. Because under many other circumstances, that situation would have resulted in that bus driver getting stomped the heck out.
And there's a lot of videos like that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That could have turned out really
Yes.
bad for the driver.
Yeah. There's a lot of videos where kids in the class.
I've seen a bunch of young niggas drag a grown ass man out of his Uber car driver window.
What?
It's wild out here. These kids are wild. And maybe have a
Tatamkaka. Justice.
just off of the fact that
Bafana, like varsity boys.
university is better. You get like high school kids, guy in full uniform, but with a fence, ya school. It's a pandemic.
That driver was lucky. That could have ended badly for him.
But I think there will be repercussions.
How about the Tomudia Bahanne base bamsia da? Nice game. Nice game.
Because they can drive the bus.
Imagine looking at funny. This is how you're fun.
Babo no can
Mphathi
there's
no.
already some shit.
Hey.
Where's the bus, bro?
You know knowing
Ufika sekathi yo yazi mara mina bangiloyile.
knowing the problem before it's announced. If you're walking into the yard, I know
Where's
there's
the
a
bus?
problem.
Yes.
I just now need to
Oh
know.
no, someone else. You know, Hannah base. You are walking.
It's like I borrowed you my car, bro.
And then uthi ngisetaxini.
I already know there's a problem. Now the things that I just wonder the extent of this problem. Are we impounded because of licensing?
Did it break
Yeah, I'm just
down?
wondering how the degree of this problem. But from the moment you walk in, I know there's
Do
a
you
problem.
even rock up at work again after that?
You have to.
Yeah, it'll probably work. That's what I'm saying, because he was enforcing the KPIs. He was enforcing the KPIs.
But now he must hope that his employer doesn't turn against him and say, we don't condone.
Yes, and the employer to save the business, he'll probably do that.
Yeah, he'll throw him under the bus to say, hey, we
That's
don't
still a kid.
condone.
Still a kid.
Yeah,
we don't solve. You should have found other ways to deal with the situation that they didn't tell
We
you
don't
about.
deny children children the right to
No,
education.
they won't even probably say that
wah,
because it's not a denying the kid education. You are just denying the kid transport.
to get an education.
Yeah, but when the school refuses you to enter, then the school is denying you education.
But by refusing
the
me to
school
enter the
doesn't
bus that's
refuse
taking
to
me to
enter.
my
Yes.
education
Yeah, but
is
guys,
in effect denying me my education.
But there's a one degree
And
of
it's off that
separation.
principle alone that you should have made an effort to get that kid to school.
Exactly.
But the guy is not going to get caught on that. He's going to get off the fact that the company does not promote violence.
Yeah, because denying a kid his education in that context is not a crime. But beating a kid is.
Yes.
So obviously he wouldn't get guarded denying the kid.
Yes.
But on a principle level, that's what I'm saying, like when I started, on a principle level, that's what's supposed to be running through your mind. How
Yeah.
you are denying a child his education.
Fuck the kid. His mom must pay.
Aye, Otabang. No one intentionally doesn't pay for something if they have the money to.
No, of course.
So nakusasa izobe ingekho le mali guys ayikho. So manje umntana angaya esikolweni.
Yeah, but what I'm also trying to say is let's also not be ignorant to the fact that as Batu, we do stretch the I want to call it our circumstance, the privilege provided by our circumstances, because now we can use that thing, yabo, but it's food. Are you really want to turn my kid away from a kuyadijo? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But what you are also failing to understand, like, okay, cool. If I'm providing the service, what happens when it's 100% of your?
What does that mean?
Because I've got
None of
overheads.
you can pay.
Yes, I've got overheads. But yes, when you can explain, but I got overheads.
Yeah, but I'm not costing you anything.
Well, maybe not that incident directly, but broadly, if I start looking at the number of people that have been doing this over a number of a period, what I'm saying is that it must not be lost on us as well, who are like, there are businesses.
These van drivers who are delivery men who are going to work in the morning.
Yeah.
And they're crossing over from Alex to Santon on Grayston. And there are kids walking to school. The kids jump on. And he gives them a lift. And he gives them, he's going to work, is he not? Yeah. What about Palami?
But he's
truck
not,
drivers, the same
but
thing.
he's not in the primary business of taking kids to school.
I get that, but I'm talking about the humanity of it all.
Yeah. Well, I suppose you are right, because the problem is that then that's what I'm saying, then when you are in the business that is inherently about providing something that has to have a semblance of humanity.
Yes.
So your recourse, unfortunately, sometimes tramples upon that.
And if you don't have the humanity, then you're in the wrong business.
You are in the wrong business.
You're in the wrong line of work.
That's
especially if that kid is the only one whose name wasn't called out. So it means
Yeah.
Zaga how we fuman.
But here's what happens then. Like you see, when you're saying I'm in the wrong business, you know then what I do. That means if a service can cost R1, if I have to put a factor of how many times would people let me down out of 100, then I take a 40% will be bad debts. Then now I have to make 60% pay for the eventuality of these other ones. Then the service goes up. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Then even something that was meant to be cheap for people generally ends up being expensive. That's the one way of solving it.
Yeah, but you also got to remember that at the end of the day, you still got to go lay your head amongst the very same people you did that to.
Yeah, but they might not know that.
Well, it's on video now, so that's your ass.
Yeah, I'm saying if you had to solve it by making the service more expensive.
Now I'm talking about the actual act of doing that to you.
Yeah. No, for sure. So that guy is going to get God. I'm not saying he won't get God.
But anyways, let's move right on. The Dojo.